Fuck, did I already fucking dox myself? Shit, I have to fuck. Anyways, welcome, fuckfaces, cunts, and cocksuckers. I believe that is what I generally refer to everybody who watches or listens to my content. And yes, I am wearing an extremely fitted shirt in order to thirst trap my audience. Now that the first 30 seconds have provided immense value, thank you very much for 500 subscribers. Right? Actually, I'm not fucking thankful at all, because I only get like 20, 40 views now. You piece of shits need to get on your game. Please, I beg of you, keep me on the background while you watch or listen to my content. And yeah, I mean, well, either way, actually, yeah. Fuck, man, I cannot keep my train of thought stable for the time being because I'm so overwhelmed. This is the first time I've exposed my body on the internet like this, so it's quite uncomfortable, right? I am essentially selling myself like a common whore, so we'll see how this goes, right? Maybe this will give me more people watching my content. Hopefully it does, and that's more people to beg for money. So yes, thank you very much for 500 subscribers. It's been what, 7 months since I started? I started in December. So yeah, that's not bad. It's not good. It's actually horrible, but it's not bad. So I genuinely do appreciate every single one of you, but I'd appreciate you more if you actually watched my content, like I said previously. And with that being said, let's get into the Q&A. All right, now I'm done being a douchebag or a jerk off, and I will off myself after this video ends, but I just needed to get that last little bit of faggotry out there. And with that being said, shit. Okay, I have the questions here. Lucy the Goosey 23 asks, why did you get into art in the first place? God damn it. I don't know why I put that away. I'm gonna have to look at it after. I don't know if anybody can see anything. Right, so why did I get into art in the first place? Well, you can't really get into art. It's warm and it's fleshy, but it's quite difficult and it resists a decent amount. So you can only get onto art, and even then there's quite a bit of resistance. But yes, such shit fucking jokes, bro. But okay, so I got into art because as a kid, I was always interested in drawing. I'll do my best not to meme my way through this video, but it's difficult because this is who I am. But yeah, I got into art. As a kid, I was always interested in art around the age of what, like 5, 6. I told my parents I wanted to be an artist, and they laughed and spat in my face. So while I was wiping off the stains, I realized perhaps I should do something else with my life. What that something else was never came to fruition. But I always had this feeling in the back of my mind that, like, I really want to learn this thing. I really want to get good at it. But like many of you, I'm just going to push this because this tape is going to fall off and completely fuck the point of having a faceless channel, some shit like that, right? But yeah, there was always like that feeling in the back of my mind which kept nagging at me that learn to draw, like get good at art, right? But unfortunately, like many of us out there, I believed art was a talent, right? Not something you can get better at, but a talent. And why do we feel that way? Because art is a very visceral experience. You take a pen or a pencil, you put it on the paper, and immediately, bro, this shit's gonna fall off. And immediately you can tell when the line is shit, when the quality is shit, when your hands are unstable, and it feels like a reflection of ourselves, right? I am shit because line is shit, not line is shit, therefore how can line get better, right? Yo, I swear this is gonna fall off. Fuck, I should have taped it better. This is gonna be the entire fucking video just pressing this on my forehead. Great. I don't wanna give away my face just yet. That's for 5 million subscribers. Thank you very much. So get to it. But yeah, I always wanted to do, essentially the TLDR is I always wanted to do art, right? To fuck it up the ass. But unfortunately, it was quite closed off for many, many years. Until randomly, on November 1st, 2022, I decided, fuck it. I'm literally, fucking, or this is horrible. This is going horribly. But that's just my nerves, I guess, right? You can tell I'm shaking everywhere. But yeah, I decided November 1st, 2022 that it's time to just get to it, right? It's time to just actually put an effort into art. And, you know, like, it was one of those things where putting effort into my body made me realize I could stick to one thing. So I was like, okay, why not art? Like, literally, why not art? If others can do it, why can't I do it? That's the whole mentality I've really been trying to promote as well when it comes to my YouTube channel, right? If I can do it, you can do it. What you can't do is fucking, or what I can't do seemingly, is tape my fucking piece of paper to my forehead properly, but hopefully nobody knows what I look like. That would be unfortunate. Although, people already know what I look like, because literally 20 minutes before I was going to record this video, somebody in the ArtWad Discord tagged me as like, is this you? And there were YouTube channel links to my fucking videos. So yeah, that's going swimmingly. You know, anonymity, some shit, anonymity has been thrown to the wayside. But yes, I got into art because it was a calling of sorts, and expect this to be the same shit as my same videos, by the way. Like, I'm a rambler, I get off track. This shit's probably gonna be an hour just by proxy of me being a dipshit, but I got into art because it was always something I wanted to do. I never did it. I drew very sparingly as a child and a teenager until I said, fuck this shit. And 2 years and 7 months ago, I decided to pick up the pen. Why pen specifically? You all know, because it builds confidence. I started with Drawbox, then moved on to Artwad. But I started art because it's something I always wanted to do when I was young. And finally, I got the fucking balls, the cojones. Jesus. Yeah, the balls to do it. But cringe humor aside, let's move on to the next question. I hope this answers your question, Lucy the Goosey 23. Everybody subscribe to her for commenting on my channel. That's how it works, right? All right, next question is by Shawnee Boy 33. I don't know if anybody can see this. I'm just gonna zoom it in back and forth. Doobity doobity doo. All right, I guess that's enough. Fuck man, I gotta do this without revealing my face. Okay, I finally got myself a basic Artwad membership. I'm really liking it so far, but I feel like I need more mileage with the lessons. What do you think I should do in order to make the lessons stick to me in the long run? Well, if you want anybody to stick with you, you should stop being so fucking annoying. And that's a lesson to myself as well as to yourself. But I also want to ask, how do you enjoy the process of drawing? Well, the first question is kind of been answered just by Artwad in and of itself. They added grind nodes to their roadmaps, which is essentially what their beginner course had. That was like the original homework. But yes, the roadmaps were missing actual mileage. But I would say now it seems fair to say that, yeah, do the grind nodes within the roadmaps. I know this, I've been late as shit with recording this video, so you're probably already aware. But if you aren't, yeah, do the grind nodes. Grind nodes. Do the grind nodes. It's basically the mileage that you're looking for, and you have the ability to do them as much as you want, right? But that's basically what I'm going to be doing when I hit my little art block version with involving Artwad beginner roadmap. But I hope that helps, because that's literally what I'm doing. And if you don't know what to grind, just think about what do I struggle with the most and grind the fuck out of that. For example, just today, I didn't record it, but I was practicing drawing spheres, right? And then doing the contour lines for the spheres. But then I thought about it, I'm like, I should start putting the sphere in a box in my mind. So I practiced drawing the sphere, the box first, putting the sphere inside of it. Then once I learned or understood how it wrapped within that box, I got rid of those couple, like I did a couple times, but then I stopped doing the draw over of the box and I just started drawing the sphere while thinking about the box. It's extremely fucking difficult because I have to think about the planes that are getting smaller and smaller. But that's, I guess, an example of, if you don't know what to grind what you are at the absolute worst at, right? Grind the thing you're avoiding, and it's probably always related to perspective, form, right? Things like that. If you're more advanced, which I don't know if more advanced people are watching my channel because I'm pretty beginner myself, but if you're more advanced, I think the principle still applies, right? If you have really good understanding of form, perspective, right? Perhaps composition is your weakness. I would say mileage should be focused on your weakness. And more than anything, always make sure that, I guess at the very basic level, grind lines. Literally just grind lines that you know you're shit at, right? You can't do very curvy lines, right? Curvy lines. You can't do S curves, C curves, straight lines. You can't do lines that immediately change into a different direction, right? I struggle with that. So even on its most simplest form, you can just grind how you hold your pen. Grind in the sense that you can really focus on how you hold your pen, keeping it loose, keeping the lines nice and thin while you're practicing this. So I hope that helps. I think the gist is, apart from Artwad having added grind nodes to the beginner roadmap, because that's the main thing that you're asking, but in general, grind your weakness, right? And think very difficult, but that actually leads into difficult. Think very difficult. What the fuck? Think very difficultly. None of this makes sense. I'm fucking retarded. Anyways, you know what I'm saying. Think very hard. Also, I want to ask, how do you enjoy the process of drawing? Well, this is something I finally, and I mean like finally, came to a good sweet spot in my life when it comes to art. Just like what, 4 months ago? Which is derived from your boy Huberman Sensei's advice, right? If there's one thing he actually knows, it's fucking neuroscience and learning. So apart from his stable full of hoes, he does have very important things to say when it comes to how to learn. And one thing that I will say 100% allowed me to enjoy the process of drawing was focusing on the few things he mentions, and we're gonna go through the science route, right? Because A, it doesn't matter if it's true or not. There's enough research out there to indicate that it may be true. B, you might as well believe it so you can enjoy the art process. That's the precedent I'm setting for what I'm about to say. So the first thing is focus on the errors, right? Error. Focus on all the errors, and when you focus on the errors, as in make as many errors as possible, derive enjoyment from it. Tell yourself this is a good thing, right? Literally gaslight yourself. You know, when you make a mistake, don't think, oh, I'm a fucking idiot. Oh, blah, blah, blah. You think, oh, how wonderful, I made an error. You know, smile, whatever you need to. That's what I do. I like a fucking shit-eating grin when I'm drawing, just because I'm gaslighting myself into feeling good when making errors. And funny enough, this just ties into the whole growth mindset, enjoy the process approach, which is, and thankfully it ties into actually having a, I guess, neuroscientific reason for it, which is when we make errors and we derive feelings of enjoyment or positivity from errors, we are signaling our brain to focus on that, and it's essentially, I guess, making the connections in which where the errors should be lessened. That's my layman's explanation of it, right? That's my gay man's explanation of it. But but basically, make lots of errors, derive enjoyment from making errors, right? And focus on the errors in the sense, like, try to understand why you're making those errors, right? Focus on the process, as they say. And that's growth mindset. Growth mindset is just you focus on the effort that you're making, right? For example, if you're fucking shit at drawing boxes, essentially really just focus on the effort you're making, the cognitive and physical effort, you know, to keep your hand steady, to visualize the box, the grid, whatever it is, right? And focus on that. And essentially, again, you derive pleasure from the effort you're making. That's the gist of growth mindset, learning to enjoy the process, everything, is you just, Jesus Christ, this goddamn tape, is you derive enjoyment from the effort and the errors that you make, right? And you can literally gaslight yourself into doing this, because once you understand that mindsets can be changed, then you understand that you can essentially, trick yourself and when you into following a certain mindset, and you know what you think is what you are and how you behave, and it's only beneficial from a neuroscience point of view. So that's how I enjoy the process, much like an autist, right? I think about it in terms of ones and zeros, right? And it's been going great. I fucking love drawing now. So I hope that's helpful. Really, just focus on the effort you make, focus on the errors you make, and you tell yourself that it's really only the cognitive and physical effort that you expend that actually matters, not the outcome. The more you tell yourself that, the more you literally force yourself to feel good from these things, the more you A, will learn, B, also you'll learn faster, right? And another thing, employ gap effects, which is essentially every so often, every few minutes when you're drawing, those of you who watch my videos know that I do this, which is I literally just rest my brain. What this is called is the spacing effect or the gap effect. What that means is during practice, when you take like a 10-15 second break, right, your brain is playing everything backwards at 20 times the speed. Why backwards? Apparently we don't know, but we do know that it's crucial to the learning process. And again, after you're done a learning bout, which should be around 60 to 90 minutes, just rest your brain. Don't look at anything, especially not technology. Don't listen to anything, right? If you have the opportunity to, just rest. Chill on your bed, lie down, right? Go for a walk, but do your best not to think about anything. Again, your brain will be playing all this information, the errors that you made, the skill that you're learning, backwards. And it seems to be pivotal to the error correction and the expediting of the learning process. So yeah, I hope that answers your question, Shawnee Boy 33. But yeah, that's the way I approach it, right? It's not the way you have to approach it, but it's the way you should approach it if you want to get better. Fucking idiot. But anyways, next question. Hiya Buddy 7. That's a solid idea, dude. Very cool. Oh, he's just complimenting my Q&A idea. This guy's a fucking dick writer. I love him. But if you could talk... Okay, he has 3 questions. 1. If you could talk to and learn from one artist or person in history, who would it be? As long as you're comfortable with sharing. Of course I'm comfortable with sharing. I'm exposing my body for all to see. At this point, there's no going back. But... I mean, I feel as if it's the most generic thing. I literally suck Kim Jong-il's dick all the time, right? Rest in peace. Probably still very hard, even in death. But yeah, honestly, I would love to learn from him because watching his process is incredible. And the thing is, I don't think he's that amazing of a teacher in the sense that he doesn't break things down as rigorously as perhaps, the ArtWad program does. But when he draws, he explains what he's thinking, right? And he's actually at a very high level. So obviously when he's explaining what he's thinking, he's saying basic shit like, I think about the perspective and put everything in a box, right? And like, oh, like this is a simple form. And when you're a beginner, like a true beginner who has no understanding, it's much more difficult to even like conceptualize what he's talking about. But thankfully, I think I'm at the level where I would be able to pick his brain about the decisions he makes, because art truly, at the end of the day, is decision making. Fine motor skills aside, right? It's building the ability to visualize and enact good decision making. Good being objective in the sense of like draftsmanship, composition, lighting, but obviously subjective in terms of your own interpretation of how you want to place those lines, right? So I'd love to pick his brain regarding that and give him brain regarding that as well. So yeah, that's what I would love to just talk to Kim Jong-il and learn from him, right? Many artists like him as well, of course, exist. Multiple artists like him exist, right? Perhaps to his level of proficiency, perhaps more, perhaps less. But the point is, right, a lot of people exist with his ability, but because I'm enamored by him and what he does and how he does it, I would love to talk to him. Yeah. His second question is, this is Jeff, by the way, your boy Jeff. He comes on my live streams every day, leaves stains 24/7, right? And you shall too, Mondays at any random time in the afternoon and evening. Yeah, very, very solid schedule. But do you remember what you wanted to be when you grew up as a young kid? I think I answered this already, but artist. Artist was the main thing. Also, I said some stupid shit like scientist or like brain surgeon, because I was just like, these all sound like very prolific and well-paying jobs. But really, at my core, it was always artist, right? So this is me trying to live that dream to fruition, right? Make it a reality and also share my journey. At the end of the day, I want to share the journey of how much work it takes to get good at art. That's the whole point of the channel, apart from me, obviously, fuck, I can't even do my little thing, me wanting money, right? The whole point of my channel is to show beginners, intermediates, whatever, but obviously beginners, because a lot of them, you beginners are the ones bitching me like, oh, it's so difficult, right? So I want to show you that it's difficult, it's doable. I'm just a random dipshit and I can do it. Therefore, you can do it, right? And here's fucking 500, 1,000 videos, whatever, essentially showing you exactly the slow, gradual progress, right? You know, progress is this. It's exponential when you put the work in, but it's linear in terms of just the effort that you make and the slow gains you make on a daily basis, right? If not a weekly basis. But yeah, I hope that wasn't contradictory. But yeah. And 3, would you ever consider being a tattoo artist? I think your dedication to the subtle things like the pressure you apply while drawing and line work would work well in that field. No, I wouldn't. not to like shit on that question or anything, but that's not something I've really considered. I see what you mean in terms of how artistic I am about trying to make the line work clean and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, no, I line art, right? Like my goal is mangaka art, like what is it? Who can I even say? Kentaro Miura, the author of One Punch Man. How am I forgetting his name? Yusuke Murata? God, I'm fucking up the accent. Yusuke Murata, yes. Even what's his name? Fucking the author of Fairy Tail. How am I forgetting his name? Hiro Mashima, right? His older art, like the first 100 chapters before it became super basic and streamlined, because obviously he's all about speed and efficiency. That shit, I really liked how he draws epic faces, right? Vagabond's art, right? All of that is, at the end of the day, for animorphs, you know? So yeah, I'm interested in making a manga. I think that actually kind of spoiled the next question as well, but yeah, I would not consider becoming a tattoo artist because that is not my destiny. So, all right, next question by Axzil H8S. I forgot for the last 2 questions. I forgot to do this shit. I don't think it's making a difference. I literally don't even know where the camera is, right? I hope this is all recording properly. But are you bald yet? No, not yet. Perhaps in the future. But my grandfather had some pretty strong genes. His hair only went back like all the way back here, and he had 3 strands. So it'll be a good few decades before I get to that level of top tier hairline, right? When did you start balding? Apparently never, but soon. And when did you learn about Kim Jong-il's art? Back in 2023. Back in 2023, March, April-ish, right? I was always exposed to his art in the sense that when I decided to learn how to draw, his name came up. I got YouTube recommending me things, but I was very intimidated because he performs at such a high level that for me, when my mindset wasn't when my beginner mindset wasn't very good, right? My mindset as a learner was not good. It was very intimidating to see that level A could be achieved, but B could be done so quote unquote effortlessly, right? Obviously he put a lot of effort into achieving that level, and he was always thinking while he's drawing, but it was kind of like, it was so proficient and well done that it almost seemed boring to me back then. I was like, no, whatever, I don't care about that, because I actually hadn't really solidified that I wanted to make the Animorphs fan manga, and I wanted to draw like very similar to him yet. I just knew I wanted to get good at art, right? But when I found out about ArtWad, funny enough, back in April, that tied in, Antonio's Proco video talking about how to get like using simple shapes and building all that stuff, and talking about how Kim Jung-gi is essentially just doing that at an extremely high level. And that's when I was like, oh shit, okay, like this is the way, right? And I will be very stern about that. That is the way for representational art. Basic shapes, building off that. You cannot avoid form and perspective if you want to create genuine representational art through imagination, especially as well, right? We have to understand why things exist the way they do, and to do that, we have to start with simple forms, being able to rotate them, manipulate them, rotate them, add things to them as manipulations. Everything, art in general, really well done representational art, like concept art, people who draw like Kim Jung-gi, imagination, whatever, right? Those are all stellar draftsmen. If you want to be a stellar draftsman, there's a very specific path. I know I'm going on a tangent right now, but at the end of the day, everything is just a cluster of manipulated shapes, right? So just get good, as they say, get good. But anyways, I think that's okay. Last question. Wow, actually, I fucking sped through this shit. Oh my god. For the first time, my video is in an hour long. People might actually watch this. This channel is mainly about Getong Good by Jellyman9433. He is apparently very illiterate, and nobody ever told him how to spell getting. But anyways, this channel is mainly about Getong Good at drawing from imagination, right? So what will you do when you get good? Yes, Animorphs manga. There's a whole plan. I have a fucking 40-year plan. But first, 10 years mastering the fundamentals of form, manipulating form, rotating form in multiple different perspectives, and applying it by creating a visual library, a strong visual library. That's why I have my visual library series that's coming out, right? That's where I learn. That's why I have my imagination series to apply it. First decade, roughly, will be that. I started when I was 25, so roughly till 35, around then, right? Just getting really good at all types of form manipulations, rotating those form manipulations, and creating clusters of those form manipulations, a la reference drawing, or like drawing things from reference or breaking them down into their simple shapes. That's the first decade. The second decade is going to be now applying that and learning dynamism and composition, because obviously I want to be a mangaka, right? I like American comic book art, but I don't think anybody does epic, intense, and dynamic like the Japanese, like mangaka. Like there's no equivalent in my opinion, right? Look at anime, look at manga. Like for me personally, like it evokes feelings, extremely raw feelings of just getting. I was gonna make a fucking dick joke, but no, it evokes very raw, intense feelings. And I'm all about, like, again, I guess this is when I was a teenager. I loved epic shit. So I want to learn that and embody that. So yeah, the second decade will be all about learning, dynamism, gesture properly, right? I'm sure like these things will mix together in my first decade as well, because obviously I'm learning figure, portrait, right? And I'll probably get into expressions and all that stuff. Like, this is a very rough timeline, but yeah, the second decade will be focused on that, right? Paneling, all that stuff. And then third decade, hopefully by the time I'm, 50 to 60, right? That's just making a lot of practice one-shot manga, right? Because you can't just go straight into fucking Animorphs. You actually have to practice and learn and get feedback and get better, right? So that's gonna be the third decade. And then hopefully by the time I'm 60-ish, 60 to 90, 60 to basically till I die is just Animorphs, adapting the entirety of the mainline 54 books, as well as the four Megamorphs and 3 Chronicles. So yeah, that is the grand plan, and that's why I exercise patience, and that's why I exercise in general. that was a good segue, Viggy. Thank you, Viggy. Anyways, also they say love your videos. Holy shit, my South Asian is coming out. Love your videos, by the way. Thank you, Jellyman9433. Thank you very much. So yeah, wow, I answered everything pretty quickly. I thought this would be a fucking hour long. Thankfully it isn't, but I'm actually very hungry. My dad made goat, so I'm gonna eat that, just as an aside. It has nothing to do with anything, but yes, I hope this was informative. Again, thank you all for the 500 subs, but no non-thank you all. Fuck you all. Yeah, fuck you all for not watching my videos. Please get on that shit. Hopefully now that you know I'm muscular, that will make you want to watch me. So yeah, let's see how that goes. But yeah, I'm just gonna keep posting, keep getting better, right? Keep getting bigger, of course. And yes, unfortunately my personality is not a bit. This is just who I am. You're very welcome. But with that being said, as always, fuck you for watching, keep drawing, and please give me money. Thank you. Yeah, these aren't heart signs. I'm literally I'm begging for money, but you can interpret it. You can interpret it as such. But I'm just gonna awkwardly shimmy away now. Thank you. Thank you very much.